Hello and welcome to Diecast Diaries. I'm Dan, and as I mentioned in my previous video, I thought we'd take a break from the military stuff for a while and unbox some Matchbox. As I mentioned in my introduction video, Matchbox and similar sized diecast, probably my favourite toys when I was growing up. Still got quite a lot of my childhood ones. Might do a video on those at some point, but in the last sort of 2 or 3 years, I've really got back into collecting Matchbox and similar sized diecast. Not just from the sort of era that I remember the most, which is kind of late 70s through to the early 90s, but even including a lot of the modern stuff. They're doing some really nice models at the moment. And yeah, just got really back into collecting them. So as I say, over the past sort of couple of years or so, I seem to have amassed a fair few carded ones, and I've kind of been holding off opening them. And when I started doing my videos, I kind of thought, actually, it might be quite a nice thing to do, just to unbox them all on a video. So I thought that's what we'd do. So we've got just under 70 cars to get through. Also, going through these ones today probably gives you a bit of an idea of the sorts of vehicles that I'm interested in. As I say, I kind of keep referring to my introduction video, but obviously I did kind of cover the kind of things I'm most interested in that. And aside from military, it's things like emergency vehicles, utility vehicles, a lot of American vehicles from, let's say, basic cars, pickups, police, up to things like police cars, fire trucks, things like that. So yeah, as I say, that's what generally this lot is. I think the one exception, I think all the vehicles are American, or at least supposed to be American. Now, obviously, the ones in the background here, they're the oldest ones that I've got to open. I think the actual earliest ones from 1992. So we're not going ridiculously far back, but it's further back than you remember, than you think, actually, 1992. Well, I thought we'd actually start with some of the newer ones. I've got one, it's actually, according to the back, it's a 2024, so it's actually a 2025 release, but it's one that's actually out in the shops at the moment. So I thought we'd start with those ones and gradually work our way back. So the first one that I've just mentioned, it's this one. It's the 1965 Ford C900, and it does say on the back 2024, I believe it did. There we go, yeah, 2024. So which technically means a 2025 release, but it's out in the shops now. I don't know about you, but I've Matchbox, they're not the easiest to get hold of. This one came from a branch of the Entertainer. There's a few different shops that I'm able to get Matchbox from. Not as prevalent as Hot Wheels at all, unfortunately, but yeah, so I tend to pick them up as and when I can. But yeah, so this is the first one. So this is the 1965 Ford C900. So there we go. So there are a couple of other these actually coming up later on, but this is in a really nice sort of dark blue livery. I'm trying to see what it says on the side, something pop. Now, these do work really well with the convoy trailers as well. See, they are able to take the trailers. So yes, that's the first one. So that's the 1965 Ford C900, and that's the latest version. Right there. Now the next one, this is actually a bit of an unusual one. This is a 2024 release. I don't seem to find a lot in these boxes. I think they refer to them as, what do they call them now? Forget. Anyway, power grabs, that's it, power grabs, believe me. Most of the ones I've got are on cards, but I've noticed the Entertainer has started selling ones in the boxes like this. Annoyingly, they're slightly more expensive than the carded releases, even though the vehicles are exactly the same. So this is the 1980 AMC Eagle. I must admit, this is a vehicle I'm kind of really glad Matchbox have done, and it also kind of highlights some of the really quite cool and off-the-wall vehicles Matchbox are doing now. This is quite an obscure vehicle. I said, obviously, I do like my American cars. It's one I am familiar with. It is one I've heard of, but never thought anyone would actually do a diecast model of it. So yes, it's got the fake sort of wood grain down the side. No sort of tampos on the front and rear, because obviously it's all on the side there. But yeah, I think the wheels really suit that as well. There is another one of these that I'm unboxing today as well. It's kind of the first release of it. But yeah, really nice one. That's the 1980 AMC Eagle station wagon. And then the other one that's in a Power Grabs box, it's the latest version of the Ford Police Interceptor. Although it says Police Interceptor, I believe this version is meant to be like a sort of forest fire chief car, I guess. So it says, yeah, fire rescue on the side, so it's certainly not a police car. Yeah, it's a bit of an unusual colour, that one. It's not quite national parks, it's a bit sort of similar, but I always find it irritating that the tampos don't fully cover the rear lights. It's a shame that they don't kind of fully cover that. But other than that, I do think the Ford Police Interceptor is a nice one. Red tinted windows, which are a little bit weird to be fair, but I know it means you can get the nice red tinted light bar there. So there is another vehicle I've got coming up that's in this similar livery. It's another one from this year. Yeah, sort of push bar on the front there. There are a couple of these coming up in this video. Yeah, that's a nice one. So I say I do really like American police cars, and yeah, so that's the latest version of the Ford Police Interceptor. Now this next one is technically what's known as an MBX original, as in it's not based on an actual real vehicle. It's a vehicle that Matchbox have made up, but it's one of those where I like to think it's quite plausible. And certainly when I first saw this, it's been released in a number of different liveries, I assumed it was just based on a real vehicle. But Matchbox just call it the express delivery. Yeah, really like this. Just a classic sort of boxy type step van that's sort of really common in America. And of course, it's the sort of vehicle you can do in like countless liveries. So this is the latest one. Now, as I mentioned, the previous three have all come from branches of the Entertainer. This actually came from Center Parcs. Was on holiday there earlier this year, and they have a toy shop there. It is called Just Kids, but hey, you know, I didn't have to say it was for me when I was buying them. But they do tend to have the latest versions of Matchbox cars in, and I was really pleased to see that they've got the latest release of this. I certainly don't advocate going to Center Parcs just to buy Matchbox cars. It's not worth it for that. But yeah, it's a really nice one. So it's Agave Acres, now delivering to California, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado. I believe, from what I hear, that most of these are real companies that Matchbox uses, so I've no doubt that is a real company. Yeah, quite a nice livery that. Got quite a few of these. There are a couple of others coming up that I'll be unboxing in this video as well. But yeah, I really like this. Really like this casting. It's a shame it is mostly plastic. You know, it's the metal base, but the rest is all plastic, and it also no longer has the opening rear door that it used to, which is a real shame. So they've like simplified it. The very first version of this, which is one of the ones I'll be unboxing today, was metal, and then they switched to the metal base, but it still had an opening door, and now it's just gone to all plastic with no opening parts. But it's nice. As I say, it's a casting I really like. So that's the latest version of the express delivery. Now another one that's from the Entertainer, one a casting I really liked when it came out. It's the 1986 Ford F-150. I like to think this is a casting we'll be seeing a little bit of. I know there has been one other release of this in kind of a red and white livery as part of the Jurassic World or Jurassic Kingdom range. That's not one I've been able to pick up myself. Yeah, not even seen if it's been available in the UK. Well, yeah, really nice casting that. Nice tampo at the front. We've got the Ford badge, headlights and the indicators. No tampering at the back, but you can at least just about make out. It does say Ford on the tailgate. Difficult to see, but yeah, it is there. You can just about see it. Yeah, really like that casting. Wheels really suit it as well. This is like a proper sort of classic American pickup truck for me, before they started becoming sort of, you know, lifestyle accessories and sort of cool and all. I prefer pickups when they're sort of proper utility type vehicles, which is very much what that is. So yeah, that's really nice. So that's the Ford F-150. Now, these are becoming more and more common now in place of your sort of normal police cars, and that's obviously police are starting to use SUVs. This is the 2016 Ford Interceptor Utility. Not sure if this is a real livery or not. Bit of a tricky one, this. Oh, it's also got a bit of plastic there as well. That's unusual. There we go. So yeah, so there's no clue whatsoever. It just says police, an interceptor, and number 822. Never sure on the tow hitch on these. It's nice that it can tow a trailer, obviously, but I just think it looks a bit oversized. Yeah, no, I can't make my mind up on these as in the real vehicle. It's the Matchbox model, apart from the tow hitch, is nice. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a massive fan of all these kind of SUVs that are kind of in use at the moment, and certainly in terms of American police cars, I much prefer like a normal car like the Interceptor, things like that. But it's the way things are going. So obviously Matchbox, can't blame them for kind of doing a version of this. So there are a few of these I'll be unboxing it as well today. So yeah, it's a nice one, and it's a nice one to kind of build up a fleet of. Now I know they have also done a police Interceptor, the normal Interceptor in this livery as well, but I think it was only available in like a 9-pack or something like that. Oh no, it might be a 5-pack, sorry. But yeah, so that's the 2016 police Interceptor utility. Stay there. And to replace that, and this was another one I picked up from Centre Parks, it's the 2023 Ford Police Interceptor utility. And they've actually chosen to do it in a paramedic sort of livery, which is quite interesting. It's a smart one. It does look like a police one, I must admit, at first glance. So you can see it's quite a similar vehicle. Put the two together. I would say the new one looks slightly longer. Doesn't have the ridiculous looking tow hook at the back, which is good. And I quite like the way they just do the smoked out windows, which means that they get the light bar, that sort of colour. I think it looks a bit better than doing the red windows, just so you can get the red light bar like on the other one. But yeah, so that's the latest one. 2023 Ford Police Interceptor utility. So you can expect a lot more liveries of that. I wonder if that means that we won't see any more of the 2016 one. I assume so. Now I mentioned when I unboxed the Police Interceptor that I had another vehicle in the same livery, and here it is, another Centre Parks one. It's the International Workstar brush fire truck. Nice chunky casting this. There. So yeah, no idea whether that is a real livery or not. It's obviously meant to be, I think it just says Forest Ranger on the side, but it's not part of the National Parks range. There is a National Parks version of this, which I have an unboxed version of. But yeah, there is a bit more metal content. It's still a plastic top, but there's a little bit more metal content because all the front bit's metal, all this sort of bit around here is. I think it is anyway. No, that's plastic actually, but yeah. It does feel a bit more weighty than your kind of normal ones. And again, it's got the kind of just smoked out windows, which means you get the sort of dark coloured light bar, but I think that looks all right. So that's the International Workstar brush fire truck. Nice chunky one. Another MBX original, but another one that looks very plausible, I think, as a real vehicle. And that's the Matchbox just call it the Aqua King. I think it's been around for a few years now. Various different liveries. This is just the latest version of it. There we go. I think handy in that it's in the same livery. Kingston Pop. It's in the same livery as the 14900, which is really nice. I do like it when they do sort of lots of vehicles in the same sorts of livery, and you can kind of build up a bit of a fleet. I don't think this is a particularly popular casting. I guess some people just think it's rather boring. It does at least have more metal content because all the cab's metal, and all this is metal. Obviously the bottles are plastic. But yeah, I quite like it. I think it looks really plausible as a vehicle. It's a little bit like a sort of International maybe. But yeah, really like that. It's another one that they could also do in plenty of different liveries. So I don't know whether Kingston Pop is a real company. I'd love to know. I'm guessing, as I say, because Matchbox do a lot of real companies, it could well be. But yeah, so that's the latest version of the Aqua King. Park in there. I did mention when I opened the first one, there were going to be a couple of others of the 1965 Ford C900. So this is the second one that Matchbox released. This one actually came from a Morrison's supermarket. That's one of the places that's been fairly reliable for me for sort of picking up sort of fairly new released Matchbox. Yeah, nice livery again with this one. Matchbox garages, AA and RAC. Weirdly, that does kind of suggest it's British, with the AA and RAC obviously being two British motoring organisations, but we certainly wouldn't have a vehicle like this over here. I wish we did. Rather like them, but yeah, unusual kind of livery. Not sure what sort of trailer that would be going with, if it would be from a garage, maybe a sort of low loader or something like that. But yeah, like the livery, really like the truck. This one is, as I don't think I mentioned with the other one, the cab is all metal, so there's a fair bit of weight to this compared to some of the others. Plastic base, obviously, but yeah, really like that. So that's another 1965 Ford C900. I'll park him in front of his buddy. Next casting, really like this. One of the absolute standouts of like recent castings for me. It was only introduced, I think, last year, and that's the 1970 Ford Ranchero. This one actually came from the discount shop called Poundland. Unfortunately, they're not £1 each. They are cheaper than they are at like the Entertainer or anywhere like that. I think they're £2 or something like that at Poundland. But yeah, they don't tend to have a huge amount in, but when they do, they are at least kind of the more up-to-date ones. That's also where that Interceptor came from, the police Interceptor, that came from a Poundland as well. So yeah, well, I think that's a really, really nice casting. Nice sort of chrome grille at the front. Really nicely picked out tail lights and the Ford badge. Wheels suit it. Now, there are two others of these I've got, which is two different versions of the first release of this that I'll be opening. And there are wheel variations. So I don't know whether there's going to be a wheel variation on this one. Could well be. I've not seen any as of yet. But yeah, that was one of my definite favourites of like the sort of recent castings from Matchbox. 1974. Whoops. Oh, there we go. The way to treat it. 1970 Ford Ranchero. Bit of a random one for this next one. It's the Indiana Jones. It's the 1936 Auburn Speedster 851. Yeah, I was quite surprised when Matchbox started releasing Indiana Jones related vehicles. I'm a big fan of the Indiana Jones films. This one, as it happens, is from one that I'm not so much of a fan of, which is the Temple of Doom. It features in as a scene at the start of the film, but it's an unusual model, and I thought it does at least tie into the series nicely. Yeah, they've done a few others in the Indiana Jones range. They've done Tuk Tuk from the latest film, and the motorbike as well. I'm not particularly bothered about those. First of all, they're from the later film, which I'm not as bothered about. Secondly, I'm not really interested in motorbikes and tuk tuks and that. But I thought, even though this one, it's from my least favourite of the original three films, but it is at least from one of the original films, and it's just something completely random. Yeah, I just thought it was quite a nice one to get. So that's the 1936 Auburn Speedster. Another nice, pretty recent casting from Matchbox, 1966 Dodge Charger. This was a recent purchase from the Entertainer. It's one I'd been after for a while. I'd seen pictures of it, and there's a couple of like groups I'm a member of on Facebook that to deal with Matchbox cars, and I'd seen other people who managed to pick it up from branches of the Entertainer that were near them, but it's one that seemed to elude me. But yeah, a couple of weeks ago I managed to pick it up from one near me. That's really, really nice. It's nice as well that they've gone for a 66 Charger, not the sort of more sort of familiar, sort of famous shape, sort of like the one from the Dukes of Hazzard, sort of the 68, 69 era Charger. It's nice that they've gone for this one. It's a bit more unusual. Really nicely done. Tail lights there with the Charger name sort of picked out. Nice sort of chrome grille. Headlights hidden behind the grille. Really nice. That wheels really suit it as well. They've done a lot of really nice American cars recently, Matchbox, and that's definitely one of them. So yeah, 66 Dodge Charger. Slightly random one. Certainly this is one that I wouldn't class as an American vehicle. It kind of harks back to the original Matchbox field car that they did in the kind of the late 70s. I don't know, it just kind of appealed to me. Maybe because it reminds me of like the older Matchbox. I don't know. I quite like the livery that they've done it as well. It's the 70th anniversary livery. And actually, I just call it the MBX field car. So with it having MBX on, it is not a real vehicle. But I always thought it does at least look like it could be. Looks like it could be like sort of like a kit car type thing, sort of thing where you buy an engine and chassis off something else, and then you buy the sort of body kit to put on it. But yeah, like it. Spare wheel matches, which is nice. I just think it's a really sort of chunky vehicle. It's got the 70th anniversary logo there. Done a few versions of this. This is the only one I've picked up at the moment. Yeah, bit random, but it's one when I saw it, I just thought, yeah, just appealed to me. So tow bar as well, so it can tow things if you've got anything suitable. Yes, that's the MBX field car. I do like that. Now, as well as liking police cars, I do like an ambulance as well. And this is another recent casting from Matchbox that I really like. And that's the, what do they call it, International Work Star ambulance. I've also seen it described as a Terror Star. I think that was on an earlier version that Matchbox did. It is all plastic, the top bit, unfortunately. It's only the base and like the front that's the metal. But I really like the vehicle. Really sort of eye-catching livery. Obviously not a real livery, just as MBX County EMS, Emergency Medical Services. But it's a really smart looking one. Got a few of the, well, 2 or 3 of these, I think. There's one other that I'll be opening when I get around to it. But yeah, this one came from a Morrison's. I'm really, really pleased to sort of find this one. It's one I've been after for a while. Another one that, as I say, seemed to sort of elude me. But yeah, really pleased with that one. So that's the International Work Star ambulance. And then the last one for the 2024 releases. Now this is a range that I've not seen in the shops over here. Matchbox County Rescue. It's a 6 vehicle range. So you've 3 of them, I think, are just reissued versions of vehicles from the normal line. The Freightliner, it's the same one from the normal range. Possibly that is. That one, it might be slightly different, but it's very similar to the sort of fire department Ram 1500 they've done before. But I think the other 3, the Stepside, the Buick Century and the Caprice, are unique to this collection. The Caprice was the main one I wanted, and happened to come across one that a guy, an English eBay seller, had got amongst his other things. And yeah, I was really surprised that I was able to get it for, I think I got it for £3.50 or something like that. Yeah, it's not an easy one to get. As I said, as far as I'm aware, these haven't been released over here. It was the only one he had from the range. But there we go. So it's the 1994 Chevy Caprice Classic Police. One thing that irritates me, I kind of mentioned it with the Ford Police Interceptor, it's the fact that the tampo doesn't go all the way around. The brake lights, the sort of rear lights are sort of such a feature of the rear end of these sort of Caprices. It's a real shame that they didn't sort of, just fill it all in. The blue tin to get the blue light bar, I don't think looks too bad. I think it's nice that it does have a kind of nice sort of blue light bar, and that goes well with the yellow. Unusual, this one's obviously a fire chief car. Obviously, again, not a real organisation, MBX County, but it does at least mean, although this isn't part of the same range, they go quite nicely together. So yeah, so that's the 1994 Chevy Caprice Classic from the County Rescue range. Pop that there. Now moving on to 2023 releases. We've got another express delivery. obviously, definitely a real organisation with this one. Federal Express. Really looks good in the sort of nice, simple livery, but really striking, immediately identifiable. Yeah, you see it's still got the fixed door at the back. But yeah, really nice casting. You could obviously build up a fleet of these just in the FedEx ones, but as I say, yeah, FedEx.com on the door. Really like that. So there we go, that's the express delivery, Federal Express. What there? And I mentioned not that long ago, I've got the other Ford Rancheros. This is the earlier release of it, 1974 Ranchero in green. Now this one has the same wheels as the previous one I showed you. So it's got the same tampos at the back, looks really good. That's chrome grille. But I have the other one here. There you go, wheel variation. Now, I will point out, I'm not, as much as I've got back into collecting Matchbox, I'm certainly not out to collect every single casting. There's various reasons, time, money, space and all that. The other one is there's an awful lot of Matchbox castings I'm not interested in. Normally, I wouldn't sort of bother about going to sort of, getting different sort of variations where it's the same basic model, same colour, but just different wheels. But because this is a casting I really like, and I also couldn't decide which ones I like the best. I think they both look good, to be honest. So, yeah, got both. Also, they weren't expensive. They were kind of, these ones were both B&M purchases, so they were like £1.70, something like that each. So not expensive. But yeah, I'm not going to sort of go nuts on getting different variations just because they've got different wheels and things like that. But I wanted to make an exception with that one just because I really liked it. Another one where we've got a couple of different versions, both in the same year. Unusual one, this. It's the Dodge Swept-side pickup. Kind of a slightly random pickup for Matchbox to do. It's a kind of quite an unusual looking vehicle, especially from the front end. I'm not sure if it's... 1957, so it is a bit of an older sort of one. You can say it does look quite 50s at the front end. No sort of detail sort of picked out at all, but obviously I've got the sort of two colours. Looks really good in the sort of blue and white sort of colour. Dodge on the tailgate there. Yeah, that's the 1957 Dodge Swept-side pickup. And he rolls away. Yeah, got another one. It's the black and white version, so it's exactly the same wheels. There is one other variation of this, I think, which is in kind of a sort of cream and red sort of colour. There we go. But yeah, it's exactly the same. But just black and white, same wheels and everything. But yeah, bit of an unusual vehicle. Now, again, a vehicle, I think all credit to Matchbox for doing it, because it's quite an unusual one. There we go. Another 70th anniversary range one. This is the 70th anniversary Ford Police Interceptor. So of course it's, again, not a real police livery or anything, but I think it looks really smart. So these are fighting me, it has to be said. There we go. So yes, this one's just got the blacked out windows and the sort of black light bar, but I think that looks really nice. You kind of got the sort of orange and black stripe down the side, the orange trim on the wheels, and they've actually, because I presume because this is a 70th anniversary one, I don't know, but they have actually done the full lights, the Ford badge, and it also says police at the back as well. So it's really smart. Yeah, looks really nice. You got the 70th anniversary logo at the front, Interceptor on the front wing, and obviously number 70 for the 70th anniversary. So yeah, it's the 70th anniversary Police Interceptor. 1957 Ford Custom 300. Again, just another sort of nice American car that Matchbox have done. This is the, as far as I know, the second version that they've done. The first one was black, and they've more recently come out with a blue one, which I've not managed to pick up yet. But yeah, nice, nicely sort of tampoed front end with the headlights and the Ford badge. Nice big chrome grille. You can't have a 50s American car without loads of chrome. Yeah, nice sort of pick out of the sort of chrome trim along the side as well. Yeah, just a nice sort of typical 1950s American car like that. Looks quite jazzy in the red actually. I think I prefer the black one if I'm honest, but the red one certainly provides a nice contrast. So I'll just pop him down. Another 70th anniversary range one, and it's the second of the 1966 Dodge Chargers that we've been going through tonight. There we go. So yeah, nice and subtle this one. I'm not normally a fan of models when they've got things like the sort of 70th anniversary, things like that. I think I just prefer them to be like a normal livery, but it is Matchbox. Thankfully, I've kept it quite subtle. And the sort of different colours that they wanted to incorporate, they can really go to town with it on the police car, because obviously they have nice big high visibility markings. But on this, they've kind of kept it quite subtle along the side, which is nice. And I like the orange trim on the wheels again. Again, they've picked out Charger at the back and the sort of rear lights. But yeah, really nice looking one, that. It's another 66 Dodge Charger. And I mentioned, because I think it was like the second one I unboxed, really liked the 1980 AMC Eagle when they brought it out. Well, this was the first version. I actually think this one looks better. Most of the pictures I've seen of these are in this kind of sort of browny, sort of coppery sort of colour, again with the fake wood trim down the side. So yeah, this was one, as soon as I saw Matchbox were releasing it, I was like, yeah, really want that. And luckily I was able to find one in B&M sort of fairly easily. So it wasn't an expensive one to pick up. But yeah, really like that. Nice, they've done the grille up the front. Again, as I mentioned before, with the black one, the wheels really suit it. Got the mud flaps underneath and everything. So this is a four-wheel drive estate car. It must have been quite a game changer when it first came out. But unfortunately, I don't think it was a real success. I think maybe people thought it was a bit of a novelty. I know AMC as a company weren't doing particularly well at the time. There were kind of saloon and sort of fastback versions of this, but the estate or station wagon, whatever you want to call it, definitely the one that looks the best. So yeah, 1980 AMC Eagle wagon. Another favourite, I would say, of like the recent castings that brought out, another favourite of mine. Another 2016 Police Interceptor. Kootenai, I hope I pronounced that right. County Sheriff. I'll be honest, I don't know where that is. Maybe someone can enlighten me. Oh, it's quite a smart livery, very classic American police livery with the black and white, and Sheriff in gold with the sort of star at the front there. Again, the oversized tow hitch, but they've all got that, so push bar at the front again. But yeah, another nice one, that 2016 Police Interceptor utility. Now this next one, yeah, quite a nice one. I was quite surprised when I saw this one. It was because Matchbox over the years have done a few NASA vehicles. There was the sort of rocket transporter from the 80s, and then there was the Convoy Kenworth one with the rocket on the back and the tracking vehicle and things like that, which I do have, and a couple of which are ones I've had since I was little. So it is kind of nice to kind of get a few Matchbox NASA vehicles. So this could be part of it. It's a Dodge Charger Pursuit, and they've done a few different versions of this car, obviously, like they will with any police car. Well, this one, a bit more unusual, as it's Kennedy Space Center Security Patrol. It's got the NASA logo on it there, and that's really nice. And, excuse me, they sort of subtly just like picked out the indicator at the front there. No tampos at the back, unfortunately. But obviously you've got like this sort of really nice sort of livery along the side. Yeah, I think that's a really nice one. Yeah, so Dodge Charger Pursuit. Does it say a year on it? No, it doesn't. But I think that's the sort of fairly sort of current Dodge Charger police car. But yeah, so technically that can go in your police collection and in your NASA collection. There we go. I've got two more from 2023. Another casting that I've always really liked. Used to be called the Highway Maintenance Truck. It's now called the Plowmaster 6000. It was originally a licensed model. It was a Chevrolet. It's obviously still is the same vehicle, but it no longer has the Chevrolet badge on the front for some reason. So Matchbox changed the name of it to the Plowmaster 6000. The plough used to be movable on the original versions. It's now just fixed in place. I suppose that does mean that the plough doesn't get lost, because there's an awful lot of loose versions of the older kind of highway maintenance truck where the plough's missing, unfortunately. Other than that, the model is completely the same. I think they've also added in tow bar. The original one didn't have a tow bar. Other than that, it's exactly the same model. One I've always liked, and one I'm trying to this is one of the castings I'm trying to collect as many of them as I can, as many of the different variants as I can. So Matchbox road maintenance on the side. There's this one. There's also a National Parks one, which I've not managed to pick up yet, which are the two latest releases of this. But yeah, that's a nice one. To be fair, the movable blade, it's not a massive loss. As I say, it does at least mean that you don't lose the blade. So yeah, so that's the Plowmaster 6000, or I like to still refer to it as the highway maintenance truck, to be honest. It's, definitely the same vehicle. And then to round out 2023s, we've got the Charmobile 2. This one, it's actually already open. I like this one because it's very similar to the express delivery. It is a slightly different van. It's slightly longer. When this one first came out, though, I must admit, because obviously that's the side that's presented, I was kind of like, yeah, it's all right. It wasn't overly sold on the livery. But then I saw someone doing an unboxing of it, and I saw that's what the other side looked like. And I was like, wow, it looks really quite cool with all that sort of detail on it, all the little bits of food on display, things like that. So I decided to pick one up. So yes, that's the original Charmobile was kind of a similar type of van, but it had much bigger wheels. I prefer this version, I have to say. So yeah, that's the Charmobile 2. Now, as I realise, now that just comes to the end of the 2023 ones, and I realise that this video has been going on for quite some time. So I think might pause it there actually, and I'll carry on with the unboxings in the next video. So we'll leave it there for now. But yeah, please do like, share, subscribe, and join me next time for some more unboxing. See you soon. Bye.